Hey there everyone. Okay, so I promised you guys that I would talk a little bit about grocery shopping, and I actually went shopping yesterday. So I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about, a few things that I bought, things that I look for whenever I'm buying groceries, and I'm coming to you from my hot mess kitchen. This is real life. I'll try to not screenshot the sink because it's full of dishes. But yeah, here I am. So, okay, a few things that I'm gonna cook this week. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about not only like the things that I look for, health factors, but I'm also super frugal and I'm really big on like not wasting anything. I don't want to, I never want to waste money when it comes to groceries. And so I'm really mindful when I purchase things of like, how am I going to use all of this or reuse it? So for instance, I'll start with bread. So I always buy all of my bread whole wheat. Even tortillas, I buy whole wheat tortillas, or I'll buy corn tortillas. My husband actually loves corn, so that's great. So these are super basic H-E-B Bake Shop whole wheat buns that I bought here. They're hamburger buns. This is some bread, get that in there. But then I got this bread yesterday that'll probably just be for me. This Essential Grains is a really good bread. So I try to get like as many like grains as possible in the bread. The one reason I buy all wheat is because they use bleach to make white bread, wheat products to make them white. They use bleach, and so I got bleach bread. I just prefer not to eat it. Even pasta, I buy whole wheat pasta. There are, if you're someone who has like a gluten issue, there's some people that are going to disagree with eating that much wheat. I don't have any things like that. We don't in our family, so we eat wheat products if we're eating bread. I try to limit carbs in general, but we're by no means like a no carb or a low carb. We still do eat them, but like I say, I just try to have like whole grains. These are some English muffins that I like, and you guys would be shocked, like if you check the ingredients on these, like they will put sucralose in your bread sometimes, and so I always check the labels and try to get a brand that doesn't have any artificial sweeteners in it, which is like so random to me for them to do that. I kind of live by the count chemicals before calories. I'm not real big on like counting my calorie intake, things like that. I really look at the ingredients and try to not consume things that are artificial or fake or chemicals, bleach, artificial sweeteners, that kind of stuff. And first and foremost, it's really important to try to eat foods that are ingredients, if that makes sense. So if you're eating foods that don't have labels, that's great. And that's really where I focus my meals, or on, meats, vegetables, produce, fruits, that kind of stuff, stuff that doesn't have a label on it. I will share later in the week, it's called the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen, and it's a really good guide on how to shop for produce and which items you should get organic and which items are okay to get regular, just because you do for a lot of families have to be price conscious when it comes to shopping. So I talked about the hamburger buns. So when you buy hamburger buns, you get 8, right? There's me and my husband. My kids eat like their own set of food, their own world. And so I don't want these to go to waste. So actually have in the crock pot right now, if you can see, and you just saw my sink, how embarrassing, meatballs. So we're gonna have open-faced meatball subs, which is basically be a half, like I'll take the fluffy bread, put it down, meatballs, tomato sauce, and with a little bit of like Italian style cheese. So we're cutting the bread in half, but it's still really good. It's a good like protein meal. I'll probably do some grilled vegetables to go with it. Maybe I'm having some dental work done this afternoon, so maybe not. That may be it. My husband can have chips if he wants. I won't be eating. So, and then the next meal that we'll have with this week, so this bread doesn't go bad, is hamburgers, or turkey burgers to be exact. And I'll share with you guys the recipes for both of those items that we're going to be cooking. And then because we'll probably still have at least 4 pieces of bread left, I'll probably make spaghetti spaghetti next week, and I'll do a ground turkey with the whole wheat noodle spaghetti. For myself, I'll probably do spaghetti squash just because I'm really trying to clean it up right now with the goals I'm trying to meet. And then I'll use these buns to make homemade garlic bread. So that's how I try to make sure that they don't go to waste. Same thing with the tomatoes. So like I don't eat tomatoes on my burger, but my husband does, but he can't eat a whole tomato. So what I'll do is I will slice that tomato up. We'll have burgers. He'll have the tomato on his burger. A lot of times I'll do a BLT back to back with hamburgers. So I do hamburgers, then I'll do BLTs, and then he can have the extra, you know, the lettuce and tomato from the hamburgers, then he can have that on his BLT. And a lot of times when we do BLTs, I myself will have like scrambled eggs with the bacon versus the BLT. And then whatever tomatoes left from that, I'll chop it up and either throw it in the freezer or put it in the refrigerator, and I will throw it in with my spaghetti sauce whenever I make spaghetti next week to use up the rest of that bread. He requested hot dogs, something I'm trying not to eat, but he doesn't really care for a lot of chicken. You guys, he works at Wingstop. He eats chicken for lunch almost every single day. He's around it all the time. I could eat chicken for every single meal. So there are times that I do make separate meals. But what I will do is I will cook some chicken breast, and I'll share the recipe of a chicken breast that I'm going to make this week, and it's got spinach and some kind of cheese that I can't remember right now, like stuffed in it. It's so good. And so I'll probably make 2 of those, and then one of them I'll have for lunch one day, and so then the next day or whatever day I make him hot dogs, I'll just eat, you know, my chicken breast with my vegetables, and he can have hot dogs with the kids. But with the hot dog buns, and again they're whole wheat, because I don't want them to go bad, I will probably, if I have sandwiches any day for lunch, I will use that bread and make kind of a sub sandwich out of a hot dog bun. That way it doesn't go bad, and then I can use it, you know, if we need garlic bread for something, you know, later on I can use it for garlic bread too. You can always freeze bread and put it in the refrigerator. It lasts a little bit longer. I used to never do that whenever I was younger. I didn't know, but I promise you can freeze bread and it's totally okay. Okay, so here's my lovely refrigerator, and you guys are definitely gonna see some things that are not 100% clean, but you know, it happens, that's okay. First I'll show you guys my coffee creamer. So I used to drink, like I used to be a huge coffee drinker, and I would drink like 3 large cups a day, like large from the Keurig machine. I've cut way back since then. I do make a small cup of coffee each morning. I use the smallest function on my Keurig. I may or may not finish it, but I just like it. I've always had coffee. My mom drinks coffee. My grandma drinks coffee. I just love it. So, but one way that you can clean up your coffee is your creamer. I do like the flavored creamers. This is one of my favorite. It's a Natural Bliss salted caramel, and I talked a little bit about labels earlier and things to look for, but the #1 rule for reading labels and looking at ingredients is the less ingredients, the better. And so, like this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients. There's only 5 ingredients in this. They only sell it in the little containers. They don't sell it in the big ones. And the reason why is because it does not have preservatives in it, so it can go bad a lot quicker. So they can't sell it in the big containers. So that's another thing to kind of be mindful of when you're shopping. If something can be sold in a huge, like a bulk package, and not go bad for a really long time, then it probably has it does have a lot of preservatives in it. And so that's why, you know, healthier options come in these smaller packages, is just because they will go bad because they don't have, you know, that extra stuff. Let's see what I have in here. These little tomatoes, these little grape tomatoes, are super yummy. I had a chicken recipe that I shared on my Facebook not too long ago, and it had these in there roasted, and they were so good, so I bought some of these just to make on their own. I probably will, well, I may serve them with the open face subs that I'm making tonight, or possibly even with the spaghetti next week. But they're just would be a really good vegetable to have on the side. I can even have, you know, when we have our turkey burgers, would be really good. Lunch meat. Okay, so we do probably eat more processed meat than I would like for us to, or that we should. There's a lot of like information out there about how processed meat's bad for you, how it's linked to cancer, and so I do try to be mindful of what kind of processed meat I do bring in the house. And one of the things that they tell you that the reason why processed meats are so bad has to do with the nitrates. So this is a lunch meat that I'm buying right now, and this is the salami version, but I also have chicken and turkey in there. And if you look, you can see, I don't know if that's coming in clear, no nitrates. It says no preservatives, 100% natural. And so yeah, this is the lunch meat that I've been buying, and it's really good. It's a better quality. You can taste the difference. And same thing on my, let's see what we got down here. Hot dogs. Okay, so these Oscar Mayer Selects Angus, no artificial ingredients. These are the hot dogs that I prefer. I actually just got my kids to start eating these. They like those super cheapo, like 98-cent ones. Or Vienna sausages, which are, you know, kind of gross, but it is what it is, right? So trying to get them to have, you know, healthier eating habits. And so this is the hot dogs that we buy. Got all our vegetables down there. Carrots. This is one of my favorite vegetables to buy. I buy these already shredded up carrots. You can buy carrots yourself and shred them up. This is a lot easier for me. These carrots, I will put these in my taco meat. I'll put them in my, if I have sloppy joes, that's another thing I could do with those burgers. If we have some left, or the burger buns. Let's see, sloppy joes. Even if I make chicken meat for tacos, like shredded chicken, I'll put these carrots in there. I'm actually going to be making stuffed bell peppers either this week or next week. I have this stuff for it already, and then I'll be putting these shredded carrots in my stuffed bell peppers. So you may be thinking like carrots and spaghetti, that's kind of like, but I promise it's so good. Carrots do not have a lot of taste to me, and they're just a really good vegetable that you can chop up and you can add to almost anything, and just to pack in some extra vegetables wherever possible. This is really good if you have kids too, but even for me and my husband, like, it's, instead of me making spaghetti and then trying to make, you know, a separate side dish to get in some vegetables, you know, I can put the carrots in the spaghetti meat, and it's really, it makes me comfortable that I know that I'm, you know, getting some good vegetables in that meal. Let's see, this is a really cool tortilla that I got. It's corn and flour blend. I'm excited to try it. Hopefully my husband likes it. I'm not a huge fan of corn tortillas, so I usually go for a whole wheat. So I'm interested to try this and see if I like it as well. Like I said, he'll eat, you know, just corn tortillas. These, I actually got these burger leaves, and I'm going to, if I can get them out. This is what I'm gonna have my burger on probably this week, or I may just make some chicken mix, like you would put in enchiladas or something like that, and you know, eat that for lunch or something. But I bought these, and this is a little lazy. You could buy a head of lettuce if you wanted, but I thought these were really cool. So they're already in little boat form, so I can make a wrap with those. I've got some spinach, baby spinach. I'm gonna put in that chicken that I told you guys about. And all these recipes I'll share throughout the week or as I make them. Talking about ingredients, so the least amount of ingredients possible. Cheese is another one. So a lot of times I buy block cheese, and then that's what I shred. I don't buy shredded cheese in the package, or at least I try not to. I do, but I really try not to. I try to buy the block and then shred it up myself, and honestly, you guys, it tastes so much better. You only shred like a little bit at a time, or as much as you need. It depends on how much cheese your household eats, just because it will mold, but it has way less preservatives and way less ingredients. This H-E-B natural cheese, sliced cheese, this is really good cheese too. So it has 5 ingredients in it, and a lot of like super healthy people, I'll hear them say, you know, 4 ingredients or less. I'm okay with 5 ingredients. It's super hard to find cheese with 4 ingredients or less, so 5 ingredients, I'm cool with that. But I try to not go over you know, 5 ingredients when it comes to purchasing a cheese. These, okay, how many, you guys, do your kids love the, my son calls them squeezy yogurts, Go-Gurts? We were buying those for a little bit. He loves them, and they're not too bad, or you think, hey, he's eating yogurt, right? That's better than a lot of things. But when I got to really checking the label and I was having some issues with his eczema and allergies acting up, I looked, and they actually have sucralose and carrageenan in them, which are two ingredients that we prefer not to consume. And so, but he won't eat the yogurt out of the cup. He won't, like, he likes them in that little squeezy pouch. So I actually found these Stonyfield Organic Yo Kids Squeezers. They look exactly the same. Unfortunately, they don't have superheroes on them, but he loves them. He eats them just the same, and I'm really comfortable with the ingredients, and so yeah, that makes me happy. Butter. Okay, so this is a butter that I like. Again, on the butter, you're gonna wanna go least amount of ingredients possible. And when you start getting into the whipped butters, the ones that spread easier, you'll notice they start to have more ingredients. So this is a stick butter. No, it does not spread on toast easy, but what I do is I put some in a tiny little bowl, I microwave it to soften it up, and I spread it on my toast. That's how I use it, or whatever, you know, I need it to spread easier. It's an extra step, but for me, it just makes me more comfortable with, you know, what we're eating. Anytime I can cut out those preservatives, I try to, even if it's just little things like that. So let me see. Oh, I shared some information about Greek yogurt last night, but this is the Greek yogurt I purchased. If you guys didn't see that, I use it on like, you can use Greek yogurt. Basically, I use it in place of mayonnaise. So whether it's mayo, like in my chicken salad that I'm gonna have for lunch today, or even on sandwiches, I'll just use that Greek yogurt. And you can also use that and turn it into a dessert type food if you want. I'll share it. There's a recipe that has like peanut butter and chocolate chips in it with Greek yogurt, and it's a really good little snack. Okay, so I have never in my life bought rice cakes. I always see like healthy people buying rice cakes. I know it's crazy. And so I've never had them, but I actually bought these yesterday. They're really good. You can see that. And they're chocolate crunch rice cakes. And we don't eat peanut butter. Trace is allergic to it, and so we actually eat almond butter. This Jif almond butter is one of my favorites. I bought some other brands that were more expensive, to be honest, and it just doesn't spread really well, or it's oily, and I don't know, so I really like this one. It spreads just like peanut butter, so that I've been putting that on those rice cakes, and it's really good. I'm actually attempting a slight, like I wouldn't call it a sugar detox, because I am, like, my coffee creamer has a little bit of sugar in it. I actually use stevia leaf in my coffee. I don't use sugar, and I use an organic stevia, but so I wouldn't say 100% cutting out sugar, but trying not to binge on sweets, trying not to, you know, cookies, brownies, cake, dessert after a meal, that kind of thing. What happens, and some of you may know this, some of you may not, but whenever you consume a lot of sugar, your body wants more sugar, and it really becomes a vicious cycle, and really the best way to break it is just cold turkey. And so, like, I had one of those little rice cakes yesterday, and I was like, nope, I'm done, no more, you know. So sometimes whenever you do that, you cut out sugar. It can be a little rough. Luckily, my blood sugar is regulated thanks to my supplements that I take, and so it makes it, you know, a lot easier. But okay, so canned goods. I want to talk about canned goods a little bit. I really try to buy vegetables fresh, if at all possible, but I don't want them to go bad. And so that does mean, you know, going to the grocery store frequently, planning out my meals, knowing what I'm going to cook, or just cooking meals around, you know, what vegetables that I have. And, but let me... Oh, I forgot. I took them out over here. I wanted to show you a couple things that I look at whenever I am buying canned goods. So this is, okay, Del Monte diced green onions and peppers. I will probably throw this in with, if I have sloppy joes is something I would put this in. And so if you look right there, you see the non-BPA lining, no artificial flavors or preservatives. You've heard me say that a few times. The BPA lining, and you guys, I'm not going to like go way into detail on that, but there's a lot of research about the negative effects of BPA on our bodies, especially as women and in our hormones. And they actually use BPA as a way for the cans not to rust. And so that's why you'll hear people say like, oh, you don't want to buy canned goods. Canned goods are not good for you. Canned goods cause cancer, things like that. But if you can buy the non-BPA, that really makes me feel safer, you know, when it comes to buying canned goods. Same thing with corn. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't eat corn. We do. It's not like an everyday kind of thing, but we do eat corn. I do use it as a filler. I'll put corn and black beans in my stuffed bell peppers, you know, and just different things. And so, but if you look, there's no salt, no sugar added. And then over here, you'll see that non-BPA lining, and that's the Libby's, how the Libby's can has it. So you kind of just have to look for those things. Salt is another big one. I really try to cut out sodium whenever possible. If I can buy anything that is low sodium, no salt added, that's really important to me, like soy sauce. For instance, I buy the low sodium soy sauce, and yes, you guys, it tastes just as good. Something that you can use in place of soy sauce, kind of depending on your recipe, and I don't even have any right now, is coconut aminos. Coconut aminos are so good, you guys, and has a lot less sodium than even the low sodium soy sauce, and they're really, I guess I'm out, but it's really good for you know, if you're making steamed vegetables or something, you want some Asian flavor to it, those coconut aminos are really good. I'm trying to think what else I have. I told you guys about, you know, I use stevia in my coffee, or I try to use that as a sweetener. Oh, oils. I don't use coconut oil, or excuse me, I don't use vegetable oil at all. If I'm baking something and it calls for vegetable oil, then I am going to use coconut oil. This is my big old friendly coconut oil that I get from Sam's. I use olive oil quite a bit if I'm going to saute something, but really coconut oil is kind of my go-to for anything. You can use it in place of butter. You can use coconut oil, so many substitutions. Cooking spray. I make my own. Those little spray cans are super nifty, but you guys, they have a lot of ingredients. They have a lot of preservatives and other gunk in them, stuff I can't even pronounce. And so this is olive oil in a spray bottle with a little bit of water, so it sprays easy. Shake it up, spray it. That's what I use as a non-stick spray. This coconut sugar is really awesome. You can use it in place of brown sugar, or even you can use it in place of white sugar if you would like. I try to not use at all like the white bleach sugar, the white sugar. Even if when we do have, oh, here's a, I didn't think I had a package, but here's an organic cane sugar. Sugar is not naturally white, you guys. Wheat is not naturally white. These things that we see that are white, they don't come that way in nature, right? They're brown. So if you can buy the brown version of those things, it's a lot better. The same thing with, you can see this whole wheat flour, that anytime I'm baking something or I need a thickener of flour, I use that whole wheat flour. I have coconut flour as well. Now, coconut flour does not work as well as the whole wheat flour to me, depending on what it is that I'm doing. But if I have a recipe or something that calls for that specifically, I do try to use that coconut flour when I can. So I hope this helps a little bit. This video is a little long, but I basically just went through most of my kitchen with you guys, and I will try to get those recipes up that I mentioned as I cook those things this week. Any questions that you guys have, I would love to answer them if I can. If I can't, hopefully we can get somebody else to answer those questions, and any suggestions or anything that you guys have to add, I would love to hear it. So you guys have a great day.